Jasbir Singh. I'm the Vice President of ERP and Supply Chain Applications. And I've been asked to come and talk, and it was interesting to, I'm not a professor or anything, but it's interesting to see how the machine learning and all these things are coming into play these days. And I will try to share with you, you all need some translation. There's no, some people putting their hands up and everything, so I thought they want to ask a question. Okay, so my name is Jasbir Singh. I'm 100% Malaysian. My grandfather was imported by the British to fight the war during World War II. So he was, my grandfather came from the northern part of India. We are from a race called Punjabis, the guys with the big turban, 6 foot tall, very good army people, right? So my father was born in Malaysia, so I'm a Malaysian. I studied in Malaysia. I speak Malay, Tamil, English, Bahasa Malaysia, and I went to UK to go and study, to do my master's over there, came back, and I'm proud to say my first project to do ERP implementation was in South Korea, in Chincheon. So I was working for Texas Instruments, and from Malaysia I flew to Chincheon. The best rice in South Korea comes from Chincheon. Right? I was told that at the time. Right? So I've been in Texas Instruments, and then I started doing my work into Oracle. So I was in Oracle, and then from Oracle I went to Microsoft to understand a bit more about cloud technologies, and then I came back right now. So I run the whole ERP and supply chain applications across Asia Pacific. I will try to speak slowly. I don't know where my translators are, but they told me to speak slowly. So what I thought was, I didn't know the topic. This is the first time I'm coming over here. I want to thank you very much for inviting me here to Samsung SDS. I was just sitting down at home thinking I didn't know the background, but I just thought to myself, it's more around sharing my experience, my customers' experience with the audience over here. So I hope that I meet your requirements. So what I want to start is, first of all, is to explain to most of the people who got white beard like me, right, on why this digital transformation is happening. We know because my first interaction to computers was a punch card system, right? That was my first interaction with computers. So I came from a punch card to all the way today where I don't get enough of sleep because I'm working continuously with my mobile phone in my pocket here. So, right, so people who've been like me will understand how we have to constantly learn and transform so that we can survive and put food on the table for our families in the IT area. Whereas the young millennials who are coming into this era, imagine what you have to go through for the next 30 to 40 years. So what is digital transformation? When I first accessed internet, it was 9,700 kilobits per second, working from home. I'm sure 9.7 baud rate. It used to make some noise to dial up. So if you look at right now, the cost of accessing the internet, the cost of penetration, the amount of people that are penetrating the internet is going through the roof. The cost of setting up a data center is becoming more and more affordable, more and more cheaper. The concept of outsourcing, let somebody else do it for me, is becoming a standard trend these days. Let me repeat that. We all know we've been buying electricity, we've been buying water. That was the first time, right, this whole utilities model thing came about. But nowadays, the whole industry is going to move towards that way because of the fact of the impact from the cost of things going down, setting up data centers. 83 developing countries have achieved what is classified as cheap to access the internet. And this is the most interesting part, the arrival of the millennials. How many of you all were born between 1981 and 1997? Can you all put your hands up, please? How many of you were born in 1981? None. These guys are coming on board. If you look at the way your children behave, if you look at your nephews and your nieces, how they behave, it's totally different. My nephew got his first bank account without going to the bank. He did it all on mobile. They work on mobile, they think in mobile, they consume on mobile. I was talking about it earlier to the translators. When I was young, to buy groceries was a once in a month. After father gets the salary, mother then goes to the grocery, and I was the youngest son, I used to go with my mother. So consuming, as a consumer, once a month. Today, all of you are consuming while you are listening to me. Some of you might be on your phone buying something off the internet, right? So consumption has changed, right, from my time. Mobile phone right now is 50% of the internet access. Look at thing down here. High-speed mobile internet connections by 2020 will be 54%. In fact, 54% of the 83 countries that are coming on board. It's going to go through the roof. So that is causing the digital disruption. Some people call it digital disruption. Some people call it transformation. You can call it anything you want. I call it common sense. I think it's common sense because I never knew how to ride a bicycle. Common sense dictates you learn to ride a bicycle. I didn't know how to drive a car. Common sense dictates you go and learn to drive a car. So this is, I call this as common sense, but we'll try to make some sense out of common sense today. What is digital transformation? It's a journey. If you think back 5 years ago or 10 years ago, the Japanese term Kaizen means continuous improvement, 20 years ago, in fact. This optimization, where a company decides to go on a digital transformation, sometimes being asked, oh, can you get some case studies of somewhere from Europe? But shockingly, over the last 10 years, I myself have seen it, that Asian companies are thinking outside the box. I've seen people who move from East Europe to Indonesia, into Jakarta, into Manila, into Bangkok, because you don't have much jobs over there. So the brain is moving on this part, and you got ideas like this. Let me give you a good example. There's a conglomerate in Indonesia, large conglomerate. You cannot sustain yourself for the next 20, 30 years if you do not do a change in the way you're doing business today. So, like any other conglomerate, they have a telco subsidiary. Subsidiary has been selling 3G, 4G, right? And the only way they can sustain themselves is to increase the consumption of the consumer. I'm sure yours started, your first data plan was 1 gigabyte. Then you got addicted, you went to 5 gigabyte plan. Then you went to a 10 gigabyte plan. Am I correct? Right? So, you get addicted to it. You're not addicted because you consume more services. You consume music. You consume everything, right? Like I said, the millennials are coming, they'll consume 10 times more. So what happens is you come to a plateau right now where the SMBs are now going to IoT. Some SMBs want to use IoT to monitor their assets. So it becomes a revenue stream. So this telco goes there and tell them, I will give you IoT as a service. So we work with them, to give them IoT as a service. That's one program to increase revenue. Second one is they want to use IoT, asset tracking, link that to an onboard unit. They call it OBU. It's a simple, dumb Android device in the car. And they will track them using as an IoT plus a billing engine to do real-time toll collection. So you do not build gantries to collect toll, but you use geofencing, and then you collect toll. Now, that way is to do, I'm doing toll collection as a service to my customer by using my asset and increasing my consumption of the plan that I've got. The third one was they're using GPRS right now to do parking. Why do you want to take a card and put it in your dashboard? So if you park your car there for 15 minutes and more, you'll be charged directly to your onboard unit, and your onboard unit is connected to your telecom bills. And that way also then they can do promotions. Because you can do location-based promotions. That's another one more value add they can get from that. And now peak and off-peak offers, right, and clear-out offers. If you're driving on a highway, millennials think this way, right? Remember, I'm talking about millennials. People who, when they eat kimchi jjigae, they take a picture and they tell their whole family and their friends, I'm eating kimchi jjigae. They eat a steak, they take a picture, and they collaborate, they tell everybody. That generation collaborates much, much more genetically by itself than compared to all of us. They love to collaborate. So to them, if they're driving a car and suddenly somebody offers them, you come out from the highway, you take this road, I will give you a discount for the past travel. And they will look at I'm not in a rush. I'll go out, I get a discount. Because they think that way. They buy Air Asia tickets, they go on Airbnb, they call Uber. That's their mentality. So they will pick on those things. So what this company is doing is, they are using IoT plus a billing and revenue management system connected together to drive these programs to increase their revenue. But here's the interesting part. If you got 2 million onboard units, that's number one. Remember this 2 million onboard units. You've got 2 million customers' data, age, location. No, you got age. You've got where they live, what is their, like in Malaysia, race is important, right? So what religion they are, so they run. And you've got, let's say, 1 year amount of data sitting inside here. So like the professor was talking earlier about that right now, about machine learning and everything. Now, if you've got 18 terabytes of data, right, or 20 terabytes of data to be processed and to push promotions out to the right person at the right time, you need a lot of computing power. So that's what Oracle Cloud brings. First thing is partner programs and loyalty for diversions. So one way of monetizing, I'm using the word here, monetizing, is by doing this thing. These are what going to drive the revenue. You collect the data, and then you monetize the data. You got the machine learning, you got the patterns, you got everything. So that now you want to make money out of it. So how do you make money from that? First one is partner programs. Meaning, during peak and off-peak offers, if I've got in that zone, in that geolocation, I've got about 250 people who are between 20 to 25 years old right now. And if I can offer to them to take out the next exit, I know they'll pass by to a nice little Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay, so I tell Kentucky Fried Chicken, I will do a partnership with you. I will divert during lunchtime a certain amount of traffic. You become my partner. My customers will come and show you their mobile phone. The QR code is there, and I will then they will get discount. And I will give them loyalty points. Remember, it's not people like you and me. It's the 25, 26, 27, 28-year-old people who look for discounts, who thrive and survive on this kind of things. Traffic lights management. If I can consume the amount of data, if I've got an infrastructure and I know what is the current traffic condition, I'm going to offer the city council a service to manage the traffic lights. So I can clear the congestion in Jakarta especially. And then traffic diversion and do location-based marketing. So the whole idea here is you increase the loyalty of those which are less than 25 and you create a new revenue stream from digital marketing. Imagine a telco company doing consumption that way and then ending up with doing digital marketing and then diverting a traffic where they call their partner KFC. I'll push the traffic over there and you give these offers out. So content and everything. So this is how, imagine a company who is simply doing agricultural business on the top there, who's got a subsidiary called telco, who's doing this whole thing using machine learning, using patterns and everything to come up with new ways of how to make money, of why we say that data is the oil for the next economy. What was mentioned earlier about if you've got all this data, you've got all these machine learning capabilities, why don't you make money out of it? So that's the reason why Every single organization today, whether you are an insurance company, whether you are a bank, whether you're a hospital, whatever you are, that entity that collects all the data should not be a cost center. It should move and become a profit center. We even have one company in Singapore which is smart. They're sharing all their data, with anonymity and everything. There's privacy data. Same thing. They will give data around what kind of medicine people are consuming and everything. Eventually, they will start charging GlaxoSmithKline. First, you give people data, just like you and me, give you 1 gigabyte. Next thing you know, you'll go for 2 gigabyte. And next thing you know is you're stuck with them because you want a 10 gigabyte plan. So that's how people are thinking about using data to bring in new revenue streams. Now, that is also driving what is known as the circular economy. I'm sure you all have heard about this thing called a circular economy. IoT and circular economy are going to go hand in hand. The whole idea is, I grew up, I was born, I grew up, and I think I will survive another 20 more years in the economy of make, use, and dispose. How many of you all have a recyclable washing machine? I don't have one. I'm in Malaysia. Do you all have a recyclable, a reconditionable washing machine? I know cars are reconditioned. I know Toyota reconditioned their car. So the economy needs to move towards something that is built, consumed, reconditioned, consumed, reconditioned, consumed. Which then asks the question is, IoT will be driving that, which drives more consumption of data, more consumption of all the things that you and I do. Give an example. Why do you need to buy a washing machine? Ask yourself that question. I know you have to wash your clothes, but why must you buy? Wouldn't it be nice if Samsung comes out with a new model, they will come and install, they will monitor it remotely, they will see the optimization, utilization of that washing machine, and they will charge you on a pay-per-use model. You put 5 kilograms, they will charge you 5 kilograms because of more wear and tear on their equipment. Because you do not own the machine. The machine belongs to Samsung washing machine as a service company, right? And you just pay them based on consumption, which is what millennials think. Millennials will like to take Air Asia. Why? Because they want to fly. They do not want to sit down and watch a movie. They want to just fly. So they will pay for flying. To fly and eat, you pay more. To fly and eat and watch a movie, you pay more. So the more you consume, the more you pay. Millennials think this way, and that's the workforce that's coming. So why buy a car? Honestly, economically, it's the worst thing any human being can buy. Think about it right now. If you have a car, right now you're sitting down here listening to Jasbir sing while your asset is depreciating in the car park right now. Right? So wouldn't it be nice that whenever you go down, there's a car there and you pay per use. So this is what's going to happen. In the new circular economy, washing machine is one example. TV could be another example, right? Why should I go and buy a Samsung 48-inch TV? I don't mind having that as a service. So the more I watch it, the more I pay. In fact, then Samsung will know who is watching what type of movies at what day and during what time of the day. So then they can start pushing advertisements, start pushing other things into that display and start monetizing the data that they collect. So millennials is going to have a big impact on the next economy. The next driving factor is going to come. So pattern recognition and all these things that we have talked about, the good thing about machine learning and artificial intelligence, all those things are useless if you do not collect enough of data. But in today's world, with IoT, with the cost of internet, it's very easily, within 6 months, you can collect enough of information, right, and start monetizing it, right? So, I like the last question. I always ask people, Why must we work in an office? How many of you all know the definition of office? The word office came about because of the old economy, brick and mortar. Where's father going? Going to office. Right? But today, my son, he doesn't ask me, he asks me, when are you going to go to your office? Because I'm working from home and I'm keeping my eye on him. He's not studying. So he's asking, when are you going to go to office, this office? I said, no, this is my office. So my office is everywhere. My office actually this morning started off when I got on from my flight last night. My office was in that 1.5 hours ride, normal 1.5 rides from Incheon to here. That was my office. Right? Then office was for about 15 minutes while I was in the hotel room checking my email. Then my office was while I was having a smoke just now for 5 minutes. That was where my office was. So the concept of office is gone. In fact, it's going to disappear. Now, I'll share with you some case studies of, the one earlier one is what we are currently working on. Right? I shared with you just now, right? Because I think it was very interesting because it's the first time I see IoT coming into what was traditionally the billing and revenue management systems, right, of telco companies. Right? So that was interesting for me. AFG is a company that has decided that I'm going to focus on my whole banking and my brokerage business. They changed everything, moved everything to the cloud. When you move to the cloud, they move to Oracle Cloud, and these are the benefits they've been getting by moving to the cloud. It's very simple. Focus on your core business. Qualcomm have now realized 3G, 4G is the next generation technologies, and that's where they need to put their money and invest into. So anything which is not related to 3G, 4G, next generation wireless technologies, move it to the cloud. So they work with Oracle, they move their whole supply chain planning, enterprise performance management, ERP, all into the cloud. GE. GE is very interesting. Their job is to go and acquire a good company and then absorb that and try to combine two different companies to come up with a new product. So while doing that, they have realized they've got 200 over ERPs. You cannot move fast, you cannot transform fast if your information management system is disparate. So the first thing to do in a digital transformation strategy is to make sure that your information is all clean, cleansed, and kept in somewhere where you don't have to worry about it for the next 20, 30 years. So they are moving all the ERPs and setting up a shared services, right, in the cloud. So it's a concept of shared services in the cloud. That's what they're doing. They create a new subsidiary which is called shared services in the cloud. Right? Now, the new buzzword is shared services as a service. That's what they're thinking about right now. So with that, I want to share with you also that this digital transformation, the one that I spoke about, I give an example of Indonesia, I give you something on GE and everything. I'll just try to go back to Malaysia. In Malaysia, United Engineers Malaysia is a company that has which infrastructure. They do, they work with a lot of foreign companies like Samsung also to build towers, like the Twin Towers and now the 118 floor tower. So they do infrastructure, they build condominiums. They own the highway that goes from north to south in Kuala Lumpur, right? So their CEO, took him 2 years. So he sat down with a few his think tank. After 2 years, they came up with this whole thing around a digital transformation that they need to go for the next 5 years. So they signed up with Oracle to become the platform for them to do their digital transformation strategies. Right? Because they wanted everything to be in the cloud simply because they know the amount of data and machine learning technologies, algorithms, and all those things is not their bread and butter. I'd rather give it to somebody else and I'll just consume that as a service. So imagine they want to have machine learning as a service. They want to get this thing as a service. They want ERP as a service. They want project management as a service. They want strategic sourcing as a service. So they started their journey about 7 months ago. And this term, digital transformation, is on the newspaper and it came from a CEO who is close to about 65 years old. So nowadays, 65-year-old people are saying digital disruption, digital transformation. Bifrost Logistics, this is interesting. This company wanted to implement an ERP in 5 weeks, something which we have never ever heard of before. Implementing an ERP cannot be done traditionally. These guys did it in 5 weeks. You know why they did it in 5 weeks? Because Alibaba was going to sign a contract with the Malaysian government to bring in something, right? To bring in Alibaba's capabilities into Malaysia. Alipay will start. So when he knew about it, they had to set up a separate company, be up and running to support that, right? Because if you are not ready, then somebody else is going to go and take it. So he had to set up a brand new company. He even did a pitch to Alibaba that his company was ready to rock and roll, and that's it. Within 5 weeks. Never heard of before, right? But they're up and running. So even in new companies, e-tailers, right? New companies are also going for transformation. So with that, there was the whole thing around what's happening in the industry, what are the customers of Oracle are doing. But let me tell you what Oracle is happening. We have been disrupted. If we didn't change our business, we would have been dead. So traditionally, 1 billion enterprise will spend about 30 million in IT spending. Oracle spends $7 billion, right, per year on our R&D. Now that is the word R&D. But we used to be R&D, now we're no more in R&D. Now we are a service provider. So we had to spend all this money to build data centers to understand about security, understand how would you provide security in the cloud. How do you provide security as a service provider, right? And all other things around how do you automate? How do you automate? How you run a data center and automate provisioning of customers? You use Gmail, I use Gmail, everyone here uses Gmail, right? The thing is, your Gmail, my Gmail, we're all the same code. So how do you create this culture of everyone sharing the same code, but different application users? So we spend about $7 billion over every year to do this. And we built this whole solution set from scratch. We didn't take our old software and get it hosted and provide as a service. We had to re-engineer everything. Because in the cloud, the design principles are different. The next generation UI must be different. You cannot have millennials working on green screens and those things, right? So the way we work, where we work, the user interface has changed. So we provide ERP cloud, HCM cloud, and this is interesting. We are providing new type of applications which were never heard of. If you see on my hand here, I've got a Fitbit, right? I'm sure most of you have got a Fitbit also. So I sync my Fitbit into my iPhone, and in iPhone, I say I agree to transfer that information into my HR system. So if I am spending one whole week with no steps and my heart rate is 100 all the time, my HR department needs to know that they are putting stress onto me. That's called the wellness. So work life right now applications is coming to modern applications. So why you want to wear a Fitbit? You want your boss to know you are stressed out. You've not slept. You look at the number of steps. For today, right now, I did 5,000 steps. Right? Good, not bad. Maybe I'll reach 10,000 by tonight. But the new type of applications that are coming out right now are designed for millennials. Millennials are the first one. Okay, how many of you use Kakao Talk? Come on. We all use Kakao Talk, right? So when you install Kakao Talk, right, did you click on I agree? Did you print out and read what's in I agree? No, right? So millennials, they don't care. They will share their information with the company, they will show whatever, so that the company can know how's the behavior of the population. So there are new applications. In fact, we also came up with our own IoT applications, because we are saying, why should companies out there who are focusing on their core business should start building IoT frameworks and everything? Let Oracle build these IoT applications. We've got the framework, we've got the applications, and I give you an example. Asset monitoring, the top there, is the one that's being used by the Indonesian company to track, hopefully, about 2 million assets. Each asset will have, like what was mentioned earlier, a digital twin. So if you've got an onboard unit right now, we will create a digital twin of your onboard unit over here, and we've got a lot of storage in our data center. We've got all the compute power, and we've got all the machine learning language. Everything is there so that you can start recognizing pattern and start monetizing those patterns. So we are in the business of building applications and providing it as a service. And we want our customers to focus on their core business and not start building IoT frameworks and IoT applications. That's our job. And then our principles is to use data to design our applications. We design our applications to capture cookies, to capture demography, IoT data, and also enterprise data. Then we design our applications. We also have now evolved. We had to change, Oracle had to change. We need to make sure that we are updating our services. I'm not saying the word software anymore. We as a service provider, we provide inventory as a service, supply chain as a service, supply chain planning as a service, IoT as a service, and we update those things 3 to 4 times per year. Like I said, right, you got Kakao Talk, right? So Kakao Talk, new version comes out, you will accept it, right? Or some of you are smarter, you say auto update, right? I do auto update. Apple sends me something, I say auto update, because I'm getting new features, new capabilities coming to me because I already subscribe to the service. Same concept over here at the enterprise level. The world is changing. This is right now, like how you update your Kakao Talk, how you update your WhatsApp. This is how enterprises will be updating their software in real time, 3 to 4 times per year. That's the direction we are taking because we have designed it from scratch. And because we know everybody is using the same software, same version, and we can just automate the whole process. Now, as part of the $7 billion also, we had to build a Facebook for Oracle customers because we want all our customers to be talking to each other, to be collaborating with each other, and that's where R&D gets the feedback. So we have built a platform where our customers come in there, whether they are looking at supply chain or they're doing events. Millennials love to boast. If I've written something and it's very nice, I would like to share it with the community, and that's where the community is. 16,000 people inside, 13,000 member companies are inside here. We got close to about 48,000 plus right now. So this is a platform we had to create as a service provider so that our customers could talk to each other and exchange knowledge and collaborate among themselves. Now, what's interesting is 80% of the post inside there, or the discussions or forums, is between customers and customers. Only 20% is our R&D inside there. So this is an investment. So what do we have? From a CRM perspective, about 2.3 trillion social messages pass through our infrastructure every day. From an HCM perspective, we got 15 million employees of customers which are using that. I think Kakao Talk is 4.2, if I'm not mistaken. I saw it today. But we got 15 million employees that are on this platform. Now, why am I saying this thing? 15 million, 3,600 customers who are doing ERP across 77 countries. And I've got supply chain, because I've got a logistics solution, close to about $10 billion of freight under management that passes through my infrastructure. Now, why am I talking all these big, big numbers? Because data is the oil for the next economy. We paid $1.7 billion to acquire a company called Blue Kai. From Blue Kai, we've got 6 billion data right now, personas of companies and individuals, not names, because you cannot have names, but we've got personas. So I know right now, out of the 6 billion people who are between 25 to 20, 25 to 30, based on cookies, based on where they go, the pattern, the behavior of the companies, the social stuff that comes out in the companies, everything we collect through a company called Blue Kai that we acquired. So now, if I have got all that data of 6 billion entities outside there, and on top of that, I've got all the other data like this, who are my customers and see what's happening around their area, I am now able to take data and do some machine learning, scrape the internet, find out what is the current weather pattern in Asia, find out what is the current exchange rate for US dollars to Japanese yen, and provide that back into the software as a service and start providing recommendations which are not static. Now, all of you all know about supply chain planning. Everyone knows about supply chain planning as a static supply chain planning. If you've got a logistics solution, it's a static logistics solution. What we're doing is we've got the data, we scrape the internet, we store the data, and we push the data back through machine learning and down to our software as a service so that our customers who subscribe to Supply Chain Management Cloud are able to make intelligent decisions like when do I ship it to Singapore? Do I ship it now? Or do I ship it in 4 hours? Or do I wait till tomorrow? Because a typhoon is going to hit Hong Kong, I might be stuck. Because a human mind cannot cover all the data around the internet to make those decisions. That's the reason why the professor was talking about machine learning and all those things. Now, all these things is great if you're machine learning and artificial, but if you cannot monetize it, then there's no point trying to have some intelligence. With that, I want to thank you very much. But before I go, most of the companies are concerned about having their data, like software service, all in the public cloud. We announced this about 6 months ago. Since we from Oracle owns the hardware, we acquired Sun, we own the hardware, we own the intellectual property of the microchip inside there. We are now able to package the whole thing up and then still move it into your own data center here. You can't touch the machine, but you will still be able to subscribe to all that services managed by us, right? Simply because we have done it. And we've got the machine, and we can just bring the machine and put a fence around it, and put a security guard. You can't touch it. That means your data resides on your LAN, and you get everything the same. Same pricing, same subscription, same security, same updates, and everything else like how the public cloud. So that's a public cloud in the cloud. This is public cloud on-premise. Okay? With that, I want to thank you very much for paying attention. And yeah, I don't think it's time for Q&A, right? But thank you very much. I'll be around here.